Hey everybody, Mike with Canine P4 here, and today we're going to dive into our new electric pipette. Now first off, you might be wondering, why would I need electric pipette? An electric pipette is a great way to ensure that your pipetting is always done the same, regardless of who's running it, regardless of whether they're having a bad day or a dog kicked them, anything like that. It's not going to affect this. So you can see here, it's about the same size as a regular pipette. Very small and very nimble. And it's also going to come with the charger in here, which you plug into this USB right there to charge it. And it also will come with a pipette holder that you can mount to the wall with 3M tape. So basically, you mount it, it mounts like this, and you can put it wherever you need and make sure it stays safe. And of course, you will get your instruction manual as well. So first we're gonna have the display here. And as you can see, there are a couple different options. So right now we're on PI, which stands for pipetting. However, we also have ST and DI. And ST is gonna stand for dispensing. This is if you want to, say, pull up 70 ULs of something and then dispense 10 times, something like that. This is good for multi-batch dispensing. I'm not necessarily going to use this for progesterone testing, but if you have use for that, it is a feature on this pipette. And then DI is dilution, if you ever need to calculate dilution. Well, and if you look closer here, you can see the volume setting, 75, as well as this little guy here, and we'll get to that guy in a minute, the arrow up and down. But further, you're going to have your tip eject button here. As you can see, when I press this, it pushes the sleeve up here, and if you have a tip, it'll automatically eject like that. And we have the handle, and like I showed you before, we have the charging port here. On the top, we're going to have two separate buttons that also twist. Have the parameter button here, the blue one, and then the function button here. Now, to set this correctly, you want to make sure first you know what volume your test needs. Most progesterone tests use about 75 UL, so we're going to set it to that. So, you want to make sure we're first on PI. So it's blinking on PI. If I turn the black knob, you can see it goes from PI to ST to DI. We're going to go back to PI, and then click the parameter button here, the blue one, to lock in our selection on pipetting or PI. Now to change the volume, very simple. You go up to the blue parameter knob and simply twist. As you can see, as I twist this way, the volume goes down. As I twist this way, the volume goes back up. So we're gonna go back to 75 and click once to lock in that volume selection. At this point, it's very simple. We're gonna grab a tip, put it on nice and snug, and if you look closely, you'll see this arrow is pointing up right here. And that means you are ready to aspirate or pull up your sample. When the arrow is pointing down, that means you are ready to dispense your liquid. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna open up our vial liquid here, place the pipette tip inside the liquid before we do anything. Now that it's in, we're going to press the blue button, and voila, we have just pulled up 75 UL of sample. And now if you look closely again, you'll see the arrow is pointing down this time. So we pulled it up, it's in the pipette tip. Now we're ready to transfer it. So I'm going to open up my buffer tube here, or whatever other tube you're trying to transfer to. I'm going to put it inside, and then click once to dispense that liquid. As you can see, the pipette tip is now empty, and the arrow is again in the upwards position, indicating we are ready to draw back up. Now, there's also a second cool feature. It is called mixing. So if you want to mix something, you can put tip in here and then hold down the blue parameter button. And what's going to do is pull up half of that 75 again and again and push it back out, in theory mixing up whatever was in the tube with whatever you had in the pipette tip. and we finally dispensed it all out, and we were back to our original default setting of being ready to aspirate. Just to show you really quickly how the other functions work, so if we go over to dispensing, you see on the bottom here, we got 75. First, let's lock this in. So we click the blue button to lock in our selection. We'll have 75. There's also a 3 UL below. So if I click the button again, I'm able to adjust that number. All right, so you see the 4 is in there. That means we have 4. We're gonna pull up. As you can see, this pulled up a lot more than 75. You're actually pulling up 4 quantities of 75. Now, the dispense, again, it's the same, but each time you press this button, it's going to dispense 75 UL a single time. So boom, there's 75, boom, there's 75, boom, 75, 75. I would not recommend this for progesterone testing. I'm sure it has other applications though. It is a pretty cool feature. I'm just not exactly sure what you'd use it for as a breeder. All right, and finally, we're gonna have DI, which is dilution mode. Now this mode is pretty cool. We're going to confirm we want dilution by pressing the blue button. Now what dilution is it basically allows you to pull up 2 different volumes of 2 different liquids with a pocket of air in the middle for dilution, obviously. So let's set our volume for the first one by twisting the blue knob. Let's say we want 30 UL for the first volume, first liquid. Now you can see this changed to a 2. That's our second volume of liquid. So we'll confirm that. And now we are ready to pull up our first one, the 30 UL sample. Open up the jar of liquids, place the tip in the liquid, press the blue button. And now we have drawn up our 30. And you'll see here it says SEP, that stands for separate. So we're gonna hit this blue button again, and it'll pull in a little bit of air to act as a buffer between both liquids, so you're not mixing them too early, and it's not affecting the volume of the pull. Now we're ready for our second liquid, which is 67 UL currently. We'll go in, hit the button, and now you can see we have 2 distinct mixtures that are separated for a total volume of 97 UL. And as you can see, the arrow is pointing down now, so we can dispense by simply pressing the blue button, and it's going to dispense all of that liquid in the exact dilution that we wanted. So pretty nifty. All right, everybody, this has been Mike with Canine P4. Thanks for joining me in this walkthrough of the new electronic pipette. If you're looking for the best way, the most accurate, precise way, and repeatable way to run your test, electronic pipette like this is a great option. You can find it at caninep4.com or in the link of this video. See you soon.